Sots Press. So let me show you one rep, then we'll talk about the points of performance and the purpose, and based on those two, we'll define ways on how to scale this movement. So you're gonna start with your barbell in the snatch grip, and then you're gonna go to the bottom of your squat position, and then you're gonna just press up, and that is it. Active squat, good positioning. That's a Sots Press. Sometimes it's also called pressing snatch. The purpose of this movement is to strengthen the overhead position at the bottom of the squat, right? And so because of that, you're strengthening and making very good two things. The bottom of the squat position and the pressing mechanics behind the neck, pressing mechanics in general, but in particular at the bottom of the squat. Good, that's the purpose. The points of performance are inherited by those two. So the first thing that you want is that the bottom of the squat position for the Sots Press is really good. Like the Sots Press requires that your squat archetype is awesome. So you want to have good range of motion here. You want to have good ankle flexibility and control, so that like when you're down here, the weight is very centered on your feet. The Sots Press is gonna punish any kind of like deviation, like you're gonna drop the weight forward or backwards, or you're not gonna even be able to press it. And the last thing is that if you're rounded and you cannot straighten that back, right? Like if I'm here, I cannot be here. Pressing from here is gonna be impossible, and you'll see that like here the bar is gonna be in front of me, and so I have to be able to press that in that direction. So good bottom of the squat mechanics. Then the second thing is that you're gonna need to have very good behind the neck pressing mechanics. I like to work my athletes here just because it mimics the squat a little bit. But anyhow, so what you want here is to be able to have a very neutral back. So I'm slightly extended just to mimic the squat. But I'm not like super extended. I'm not around there. I'm also not rounded, right? So neutral. I'm gonna rotate my shoulders externally, which means that I'm gonna throw my elbows in, right? That is the rotation that we're talking about. Good, so I'm gonna rotate a little bit. I don't need to go all out, just there. And then I'm gonna press straight up. And what I'm thinking there is I'm gonna keep that rotation of the shoulders, and I'm pinching the top of my scapula together. That's it. Those are the points of performance, and that's the purpose, right? Strengthening pressing mechanics in the bottom of the squat, and the points of performance are the ones inherited by the squat and the behind the neck pressing mechanics. Good. How do we scale this? So let me give you, this is kind of a template for a session for you or your athletes on how to scale this. So I will start by just, even if it's just for me, warming up and making sure that I'm working on everybody, even if it's just you, having awesome squat mechanics. So I will work on holds. I will add some stretching there to make sure that I have good range of motion and I can get to those positions. If I cannot get to those positions, there's not much that I can do. So stretch. I know that sounds crazy for common beliefs that I'll talk about at the end of the video, but like stretch a little bit, do some mobility drills so that you can get into the squat. Make sure that your thoracic spine, which means this portion of the spine, is open. So also do some drills there. Work on that bottom of the squat position. If your athlete cannot give you a good bottom of the squat position, that's all you're gonna be working on for that hour, and that will be the most productive hour for that athlete. Like you want your athletes to be able to squat. And second, start working on the pressing mechanics, right? And so that means that you're gonna have to work on this external rotation and also work on the internal rotation of the shoulder. You want both. You should be able to move in both directions. And then once your athlete can provide you with a standing or kneeling behind the neck press and a good squat, bottom of the squat position, good. You're done with that part of your workout. That's our first scale. So people will just stay there. If you can, move from there, right? So the next step will be to have them do a behind the neck press with the same mechanics that we we're doing, but sitting. And I'm gonna be putting all the weight on the bench first, right? So my torso is very upright, all the weight is on the bench, and I'm pressing up. If your athlete can't do this, I'm gonna ask my athlete to bring the feet closer to the bench and lean forward, as if they were doing a squat. And like, just by doing that, they're gonna start feeling like they're doing a squat. They're shifting their weight more from the bench towards the feet, and you're gonna ask them to press there. Good. And you wanna ask them when they're leaning forward, keep a good solid position there, and make that position very active, as if they were squatting, even though the bench is there to save their lives. Good. And and then the rest of the template goes, and that's the basic scaling there. But the rest of the template goes into finding the right depth for your athlete or for yourself, in which you can have good mechanics, right? And some people you'll find that some people can, at some point, they cannot produce good mechanics. Good, keep them there, right? Right on the edge, when they have to really put a lot of effort into working, into producing good movement. That is what you want them to, when you want to have them. Some people will be able to go all the way down, give you a solid Sots Press. Don't force it though. Athletes that rotate their shoulders in and that like use too many lats to press, they might get the standard in the sense that they're getting the movement, but like you're practicing not the best mechanics, and so you're not strengthening that overhead position. You're actually making it a little bit weaker, and so make sure that you put your athlete or yourself in the right position there. And yeah, just play it with depth and see if you can get to the ground. No bench, or like where you are, it doesn't matter. Good. Two things that I wanted to say in this video. First, that thing about flexibility. Remember that static flexibility became a problem in the world because at one point 2 or 3 articles claimed that static stretching diminished power, and what they did was like they stretched for a little bit with some athletes, and then they asked them to do a vertical jump, and they noticed that like the athletes lost power. And yes, that makes total sense. But then after that, static stretching became a bad thing in the fitness world. Like it didn't work. Coupled that with the fact that like people used to believe that stretching was good for soreness, and you still get sore, and so static stretching became something wrong. It's not. If you want just to do dynamic stretching, that's fine. If you want to get a little bit more sophisticated, go to Mobility Watt or the Ready State or something like that. But stretching in the middle of a workout or before the workout is not a bad thing. It's just gonna, yes, it's gonna diminish power. So if you're trying to set a world record jumping, don't stretch before. Stretch like 20 minutes before, and then you'll be fine. But stretching is definitely not a bad thing, and it's not gonna hurt you if you do it right. And for this kind of movement, it's gonna be important that you find good mechanics. Remember that mobility is not just range of motion. Mobility is having control over ranges of motion. So if you're strong but you have no flexibility, you're not mobile. And if you have flexibility and no strength, you're not mobile. If you have flexibility and strength but no balance, you're not mobile. So this movement, for example, is gonna challenge it all. Just like a heavy back squat does, though, right? And so, yeah, this is a good opportunity for you to change your mind, how you think about mobility. Remember that at the end, more mobility means more freedom. I can move in more planes. I'm gonna be less dependent. I'm gonna be less injury prone, which is at the end what you want. You want more mobility. So this is an excellent movement to try to reframe how you think about it and work on it. That is it. Give it a try. Sots Press. Everything that I said here applies to pressing clean. So clean Sots Press, if you want to call it. And yeah, give it a try. Let me know how it goes.